Hi, you can call me Robbie. I was thinking of telling you how my parents embarrassed me. Well, not exactly. My folks are great. It's really me who's ashamed. I mean, let me just tell you the story. I am a gamer, and there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. Well, almost nothing. I wish I could control my time better, but I can't. When I'm playing video games, I can sometimes do it around the clock. Literally, I'm not kidding. And when a new game's released, I often ignore my schoolwork. Obviously, this affects my performance at school, but usually I end up tying up the loose ends and passing my tests and exams anyway. Usually. But, not this time. I failed my test. And this time everything turned out bad. My folks' patience finally snapped. "Robbie, either you get yourself together and start studying well," they told me, "or we're sending you to live with our relatives in Alaska. If you don't want to be an educated person, then you should start to learn how to use your hands to make a living. Start studying honest and simple physical labor." I honestly contemplated what I could possibly do in Alaska. Cutting trees, fishing on a barge, looking for gold in the rivers. Nothing sounded good to me. But it was not over yet. "No more gaming, Robbie. If we find out that you've played your video games again, you're going to Alaska immediately." Well, I gave up my joystick and buried myself in my textbooks. But soon, my homie Jim, who knew nothing about my brilliant lumberjack future, bought a new video game. Perfect for co-op. I tried to abstain, I swear. But as luck would have it, my folks went away for a couple days, leaving me at home alone. I held up for a whole day, but it was beyond my control. So after school, I invited Jim and explained to him that he had to leave before my parents came back. Of course we didn't make it in time. We started playing at dusk and finished well after dawn. My parents were supposed to be home any minute, and we rushed to throw away the empty chip bags and Coke cans. When the key turned in the door lock, we were still trying to put the gaming console in the upper shelf of the cabinet, where it was supposed to rest in peace, while I was serving my punishment. And it totally didn't fit in the cabinet, and it was about to fall out. We had just closed the cabinet door when my folks came into the house. We were sleepy, dishevelled, and just overall looked awkward. Poker face skills have never been one of my strengths. Jim just sort of muttered, "How do you do?" and left before all hell broke loose, without even looking at me. I just stayed there, horrified that they'd figure everything out and immediately drive me to the airport. But no. Mum and Dad quickly looked at each other and went to their room. They whispered something to each other, but I couldn't hear a word. Now you may think you know what's going on, but I had no clue what they thought when they saw Jim and I. In the evening, they told me that we needed to talk. I prepared myself for the worst, but I never would have expected what lied ahead. "There's nothing wrong with it, son. We love you the way you are," they told me solemnly, and I felt relieved. "You should have told us a long time ago that you were gay." "What? I'm gay? Wait a minute." I silently went to my room, feeling like a total flake. Please understand, I do not feel that there's anything wrong with being homosexual, but I'm not gay, and I never would have thought anyone would have thought that about me. During the next few days, I tried to explain to my parents that they were wrong about me, but you know what? They just didn't believe me. My dad patted my shoulder enthusiastically, saying that I should just come out the closet and accept myself as I am. Mum kept repeating that the most important thing for them was my happiness and that they'll always support me. And they said, almost in unison, that they liked my boyfriend and that he could come visit any time. Uh-oh, if only Jim could have heard that. Because of the ongoing threat of simple and honest labor in Alaska, I still kept the secret of what Jim and I were really doing that night. However, I tried to make myself clear in some other way. I began to compliment how the starlets looked when we watched movies. Guess what happened? Dad told me that I had excellent taste, and Mum meaningfully suggested that I need to start shooting photos or painting, and to follow that artistic flow inside of me. One day, I tried to introduce my parents to a girl from school that I'd started going out with. After she left, my folks said they were really happy that I'd made a real friend, who's even ready to pretend that she's my girlfriend, but that I didn't really need to go through this masquerade, because they were not at all disappointed in me. Well, what could I say at this point? I was desperate. The only thing that could help me convince my parents that I was only friends with guys and nothing more was the truth. I told myself this: "Don't be an idiot, Robbie. Alaska's a wonderful place, with incredible nature, and people live there too." So I got myself together and told my parents. That night, Jim and I were just playing playing just a video game. I'm a gamer. Gamer, not gay. And for the first time, my parents looked doubtful. After that, I took my studies seriously and passed the test that I'd failed before. All the conversation stopped. But I think that my parents still think I'm gay. They just decided to give me time to admit it and tell them the truth. Huh? They'll have to wait for it for all eternity. Anyway, I'm happy that they love me and would love me any way I was. This really made our relationship closer and warmer. But I wish we had more trust before that. Well, I've told you my story. Now it's time you shared yours. And please subscribe to the channel.